And we are live. This is the Nemo After Party. Wrenchgate 2018 is still going strong, and it triggered Eli. I think YouTube finally fucking broke him. We got Joe Buddy, we got Dynamite Rabbit, we got a Sicily 810, and we got Human 2.0 in the chat. So how fantastic was that breakdown?
It was fucking epic.
Your money was well spent. Dynamite, well spent indeed.
Hey, I swear to God, I have had to spend a hell of a lot more than that on absolute bullshit. Like formal occasions. Between the wife's brand new dress and makeup and the tickets and the whole thing. I mean, like in Manhattan, every once in a while I'd be forced to shell out for $1,000 night just so that we could make a scene and whatever. And I swear to God, that was the funniest $100 I've spent in years.
NYC in the chat. I don't think Jamie's still on. I think he may have finished.
Yeah, he's done. Yeah, he shut the stream down a few minutes after you left.
He had a long stream. I was really glad to go on his hours. I was really glad to go on his show because I like Jamie, and I think we had a pretty good conversation when we weren't getting interrupted by talking about Eli drama.
Yeah, yeah, but that's some fun shit.
We pulled a Conan on
JB
Eli.
Gunner's in the chat. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Good to see you.
We pulled.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys, but I was going to say that the thing with Eli, and it took me a while to figure it out, but I swear to God, and I told him this, just about a week ago, is that it doesn't matter whether he's talking about some other YouTuber he's never met before, or Dana's sexual proclivities. I mean, if a person throws a fucking garden rake in front of him, he'll stomp on it. The handle, and he'll say, "Well, bring it on, motherfucker!" And he'll stomp on the rake, and the handle hits him right in the head. I mean, the guy's got no fucking sense whatsoever when it comes to dealing with adversity. And I'm nothing. I'll tell you what. I am 24 inches long, 14 inches tall, 7.5 pounds of pure fuzzy adversity where he's concerned.
Oh. Man, it's just been an interesting week. I think YouTube finally broke him.
Well, no, he did it to himself, Eli. All right, Jesus, sorry.
Little Freudian slip.
I'm triggered.
Yeah.
I'm triggered.
Yeah, I had the rooster on the brain for a second, but no, he did it to himself, didn't he? I mean, every time someone does something that he thinks creates injustice in the world, he comes screaming all kinds of fucking, baby diarrhea and puke at everyone. Like, fuck.
It was me. I told you guys first. I told you about Cantu first. It was me. It was Coach Eli. Everybody's stoked on Coach Eli now.
Hey, I'll tell you one thing, and then I'll let Joe talk, or Asystole, or you, Nemo, but here's what I'm hoping. I don't know when his monetization deadline is, and I know that like Barbara for U2C told me that even with her 41,000 subs and like 1,500 to 3,000 views per video in one day, she still only gets about $40 a month, and if it'll fuck with him even harder and maybe drive him back into the insurance industry, I hope Eli gets to 999 subscribers as he crosses that fucking, barrier, so that I can take satisfaction in the fact that I might have been the one subscriber that prevented him from reaching it. Oh, fuck. I would lay out on my fucking, porch sofa and just stare at the sky with a big smile on my face.
Now that deadline is February 20th. Is that at the stroke of midnight in your time zone, or is that on Eastern time? Because if so, I'd like to be the one person that unsubscribes from him at the doomsday hour to fuck his shit up.
I have no idea. I mean, it's YouTube and Google. I mean, they're run by women, so.
And they're in the Bay Area. They're in the Bay Area, the best area to live in the world. Dynamite, hold on, Dynamite Rabbit. Let me talk, and then you can talk the whole show if you want to. I love you like a brother. I love Dynamite like a brother, but he's not giving me his money.
But you're not going to thank me for stopping by.
Yeah, well, of course, MGTOW. Hello, man. This is Doward Hare. Thanks for stopping by. This is. I really do want to stop talking about him, but this is great goddamn entertainment. I am thoroughly entertained, so maybe he is doing a good job. Who knows?
Yeah, well, this is great, Brenta.
As far as I'm concerned, we pulled a Conan. We pulled a Conan Barbarian tonight. I mean, when they say, Conan, what is good? He says, to crush your enemies, to see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentations of their women.
And
I mean,
their
that
cucks.
was literally.
Oh, we heard. Get your name out of my mouth, you fuckers!
Yeah, exactly. That was the lamentations.
She really needs to take the batteries out of her vibrator because he's bouncing off at the dick. Greg Q, welcome. Charles F. Gray, good to see you. Brian Young, and the normal.
I don't think Charles heard Eli's meltdown.
No, he's going to have to fucking catch the replay.
Oh my! Yeah, you have to hear that yourself.
He blew up. It was maybe not even 30 minutes ago. Almost. It seems like it was ages and ages ago when the great triggering of Eli happened on Jamie the Purple Pill Guy's channel.
I actually went back and re-listened. It wasn't as his voice in the video wasn't as loud as it was during the call, but you could still hear him. But man,
Dana was triggered too.
Oh,
Dana, yeah. As soon as
I said something about Dana,
you mentioned her name, yep, and she said,
"Get my name out of your fucking mouth, bah!" Shamu. And Morpheus Reborn, good to see you. Good to see you, dude. Charles, he kept coming in and out of the fucking hangout
during dinner,
because Dynamite kept timing him out because #WrenchGate 2018 is still going strong.
Wow.
Well,
yeah, wish Woosh was here. I'd go ahead and preemptively give him his wrench. But Greg Q, you're in here. I don't know if Eli likes you or not, but I'll go ahead and give you a wrench too.
Well, Charles, what you got to understand is Eli popped in. He said something real quick and said, "Yeah, we just finished having dinner at Chili's," and then he comes back 20 minutes later, and he's still in the parking lot at Chili's wanting to complain about Rabbit timing him out in the chat box. He didn't start driving home. He was in the parking lot all pissed about Rabbit. And it's like, couldn't you go home first and then, deal with it? But
maybe if he could have got his dishwasher to give him Roadhead, he would have calmed down. Jeez.
So, yeah, I thought it was a little weird that he's staying in the parking lot. It's not that important, is it?
Hey, to him, apparently it is.
There's some concerns in the chat about whether or not I should time out Human 2.0 again. And
let him.
Yeah, I'm going to defer to DDJ. It's like, I'm going to go with his policy because he has a lot of experience and he's a very well, fair-minded individual. And so, any feminist who wants to come into the chat, say your piece, enjoy your time there. But if you're a potato or a booger-eating moron, yeah, you're going to get timed out.
And welcome, MGTOW Warrior. You also have a wrench. Welcome to WrenchGate 2018.
So Human 2.0 is a feminist?
Well, I don't know how closely you were watching the chat, but there were a couple of users in the chat who were starting to talk about things like, well, to put it in general terms, things like pay gaps and, whatever, and glass ceilings. And I was just like, I think this is what my wrench is for. Smash, smash, smash.
Yes.
Smash through the glass ceiling.
I mean, I'm only just learning this whole wrench thing, man.
I think we all are, but the important thing is that the more people on my streams that have wrenches, it means the more cucks that can get smashed.
Yeah.
No problem, Warrior. And welcome, Woosh Woosh, and I will keep the wrench for now. But if I do need you to soldier on into battle and fix some bolts, I might bestow it upon you. But I will take it back when the meat is done.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody else was watching Eli's first attempt at his live stream this morning or this afternoon, but I think he said like 15 super disingenuous, deceitful things within like the first 3 minutes of the chat, and I think I addressed about 12 of them, and then he said, "You know what, everybody, I'm just gonna have to close down this stream and start another one." And I was like, neener.
Is the replay?
So he's
of it
been
still
pissed
up?
all day. Well, I don't know if he's going to post
it.
But no, I think that original one's gone. But he blocked me, and you see, that's what was really fun about it is he's always on his stream saying, "I'm not going to block anybody. You can say anything you want." And I started fucking throwing truth back at him, and he blocked me almost immediately.
Oh, when he gets that gaslight out, you got to fucking quelch that thing quick.
Exactly. And so he's been pissed all day. His cortisol level, he's probably got more cortisol flowing through his 170-pound body right now than you'll find in a blue whale running from the orcas.
Oh, well, good. Well, good. Up his cortisol, then up his fucking estrogen. Just go ahead and go full bitch. Go ahead and go full bitch.
Here's my policy. Yeah, here's my policy. I'm like, well, welcome to my last Monday night, Eli. Thank you very much. Turnabout's fair play.
Yeah, and he's reaping the rewards, but his sub base is growing, so I guess
it might.
Either he's great at sock puppetry, or people just want to watch the fucking scene of the crash, and they're just waiting.
Well, I think Mindframe called it. He called up the stats, and we live in a Jerry Springer, let's watch the train wreck society. So he might get a few additional subs if he's entertaining people, but he's entertaining, he's getting subs for the wrong reasons. And I don't think he even sees that.
No, he doesn't. Well, he might be. He could be the epic troll, but I don't think he's that intelligent.
Maybe he's just operating under the very simple method that no publicity is bad publicity.
Yeah, he's a simpleton at heart. Really, he wants to put on this pompous air of intelligence, but he is bottom of the barrel. Daytime television is what Eli is. He's a soap opera.
Well, and he makes it that way. And one of the things that here's the thing. He thinks I got triggered and pissed off when he asked me, when he did that whole interrogation about me donating $20 to Chris Cantu for that extremely enlightening, video production stream he did. I mean, how many other men get on YouTube and say, "This is how I do it, man"? No, they let you learn through the tutorials and beat yourself to death trying to, figure it out. And here's Chris Cantu throwing it out there with Miggy, like, "Oh yeah, this is how you make Kitty drop the bass." And I was like, holy shit. And anyway, the thing is, I didn't even know how to respond to that. That's why I flipped out on him. But the following day, when he started gaslighting me and shit, and then the day after that, he does a bedroom chat with Dana because, God knows that's what we all want to see. That's why we come to YouTube. And
we want to look at his tiny little pup tent under the sheets.
Well, the thing is, though, this is classic Starbucks, California, Birkenstock wearing, passive aggressive projection. He's like, "Yeah, I don't know. We're going to have to take our channel in a new direction because there's too much drama. Isn't that right, baby?" And she's like, "Oh, yeah. Some of these people live for drama." And I'm like, yeah, and it all starts from fucking, Eli's sound waves hitting Big John. I mean, it's like, you disingenuous pieces of shit. It just, oh my God, I was infuriated with him by Wednesday.
Yeah,
we're all blocked now.
Yeah,
sorry, guys.
We're all blocked now, and it's all over.
Why should
me and Charles aren't blocked?
Why should Dynamite be sorry? It's high time that the fucking little cuck that couldn't got put on blast for being a money grubbing fucking shill and a fake and a scam. He is everything that he said can't do is, or he who must not be named on my channel, because I don't fucking care about Chris.
Yeah. Well, the thing with the Cantu thing, and you know, DDJ is a very objective man, and he's on Cantu. You know, like I mean, he is on Cantu like the Wehrmacht on Poland. I mean, he is just beating the fuck out of Cantu, but specifically calling him out to say, you know, prove to us once and for all what your role is in this organization. Put up or shut up. That's perfectly fair. And there may be something to that, but there's, you know, that's only one aspect of who Chris Cantu is. You know, he's also a guy who works out really hard and runs around in Thailand and has adventures, and he shares them with us. And for me, on some days, on some of his streams, that's worth $20, you know?
Yeah, and somebody shouldn't judge you about what you support, whether it's just you liking it or you putting some dollars down on it. I mean, that's all about you.
Well, I look at it as being no different from paying admission at a movie theater. And I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
My money would have been more. My $20 would have been more wasted on the latest Star Wars movie than on Chris Cantu's, you know, tech support / here's how I do videos, you know, video.
Yeah, you know, there are a lot worse things you could spend $20 on, like an Eli blowjob. So
I was going to say, I mean, $20 is a trip to McDonald's half the time anymore. I mean,
yeah, you can't buy anything for $20. $20 is like the equivalent of you getting $100 bill when you're 5.
It's the new it's the new $5 bill.
But it might score you a wrench.
$20 bought me a wrench.
What was that, buddy?
I said $20 bought me a wrench.
That's what you were talking about was going to trigger Eli. You bought your wrench. That's a good play. That is very good play. It was very, very funny. I love that Wrenchgate is spreading down the channels.
Oh, it's fucking brutal. You just don't want to overuse it, you know. But it is fun. I mean, when you guys were starting to talk about, you know, I saw Eli come in with a comment, and it was bullshit, of course. In fact, you know what it was? It was that first time he came in at before that angry phone call. You know, the one where he was really losing it.
Yeah.
When he was calling from the parking lot, he came in, and his first question was, "Who's donating all this money?" So bam, I hit him with a timeout. I mean, you guys don't need to hear that shit. And it's none of his business who, you know, Jamie gets a few donations from on his stream. And, you know, first he asked how much Jamie had made that night. I didn't catch that question. And someone else came in and said something like $200 so far. And then he said, "Who's doing all that donating?" And I just slammed him. And then he called back in, and he's just like, fuck. And Dana's like, you know, Dana's like, "Don't you dare say my name, you guys."
Jamie. You know? And I got to ask you a question. Am I banned from your channel? Am I banned? Because Dynamite Rabbit is fucking put me on a timeout.
Are you okay with that, man? Is that why you gave him the wrench?
He did the same thing to Howard Dare, and I don't think it worked. I don't think
Howard Dare blocked me. Sicily. What do you think about Howard Dare blocking me?
Well, you know, the other thing is sorry, Sicily, go.
I was just gonna say, Old Milwaukee's good fucking beer.
Yeah, I saw that. Now you got like a pinup model on there. Is that like the pinup edition?
It awesome. Sure is, but it's always the same broad.
Well, they're all kind of the same. My
buddy E-Man, Blue Ball Brandon, he thinks this is like the hottest girl on earth.
Well, I think you have to drink the beer first. You know, I think you have to drink 3 or 4 of them, and then they start looking really hot. And the problem is, if you drink too much of them and you get too attached to her and you roger away on her, you'll wake up in the morning with your cock will look like you ran it through a sausage mill, because, you know, those can tabs are fucking sharp.
That's right. That's right.
Well, hey, you guys, you fucking awesome job on the stream tonight. It was hysterical. I don't think I've laughed that much in ages.
Oh, thank you. I think it was a fun stream, and I was really worried about some of the things that I was going to say on Jamie's channel, but then I realized I don't label myself as MGTOW or Purple Pill or anything, so it doesn't really matter what I say.
Right. Well, and you see, what I find about Purple Pill guys is, in the manosphere, if you've got, if you've got a guy who's like, I am Red Pill, that's that. And you're like, well, are you saying you're Red Pill, but you like to occasionally pump and dump? They're like, oh, yeah, I occasionally pump and dump. Okay, so you're one of those Red Pills. But when someone says the Purple Pill, I take that to mean that they have some Red Pill knowledge. They still want to dabble in the, mortal danger that is, fucking false rape allegations and the Duluth model and all that crazy shit that can happen. Because, just like a lot of these guys will say, never stick your dick in crazy. And I'm like, is there a test for that? Can I squirt her with a water bottle? And if she flashes purple sparkles, I know she's crazy. Melts. Oh my God, it's such a, it's a crapshoot. I swear it's like walking through a minefield. And so why do it? I mean, it's easy for me to say why do it, but I assume you can pretty much say anything you want on a Purple Pill show because they're all over the board.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Like personally, my thing is, I would like to entertain the thought of a relationship, but knowing what I know, it would take somebody damn strong and damn special to get me to take that kind of leap full tilt again. So it's obviously, I don't think it's in the cards, but I don't want to cut myself completely off of the idea. Does that make sense? Well, it's like I'm not ready to dive off the cliff.
Yeah, here's the thing. I mean, some guys are like, oh, you need to go to Asia. Oh, you need to go to Central Africa. You need to go to Tierra del Fuego. The women there, man, just keep your pimp pants strong, and and they'll fucking make a sandwich. The real key is, and I hate to say this, Nemo, because it sounds so cynical, but, it's like if you go to Real Love Sex Dolls and buy a doll, before you screw the head on it, check and make sure it doesn't have a fucking brain. Okay?
Yeah, make sure it hadn't been programmed with AI.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I hit the girlfriend button. That's why she's not fucking me today.
Oh yeah.
No, it came with that feature.
Oh yeah, and if you really want your doll to start pulling away the the privileges, put a ring on her. Oh.
It's just I'm in a very good place this week. It started off really shitty Monday, and we've had some fun since then.
Well, Nemo, you fucking represented, man. I mean, when you came on, I thought I was alone in the world, and I was about ready to walk away from YouTube and the manosphere because I was like, well, I'm kind of new to this thing, and I got totally duped by this motherfucker, and gaslit and the whole thing. And I was like, I've got better things to do with my life. I mean, there's a reason I went black pill, and I was actually not socializing with anyone for about 2 years. And then I recently got on YouTube again and started listening to a lot of this content, discovered you guys, and you seem to be having a great time. And I was like, man, I wonder if I can, join in with these dudes and have some fun. And once Eli pulled that shit on me,
yeah, but we're not exactly MGTOW.
Well, exactly. That's the thing. I mean, no MGTOW ever actually looked through their chat and said, "Hey, Dynamite Rabbit, want to come on my show?" And there'd be no point in doing that because it would become an echo chamber. They'd be like, "Hypergamy," and I'd be like, "Here," and so that'd be stupid. But the thing is, after I got off Charles's show on Monday night, I was about ready to just walk away from the whole thing. And then shortly after that, I see a new notification from Nemo, and there's Nemo just going, Eli, blah, You know, and I was like, holy shit, man. Fucking Nemo knows how to put his fucking foot down. And
yeah, when you stab somebody in the back, you don't get off scot-free. It doesn't matter if it's me or somebody else that you donated your fucking time, your knowledge, your friendship to the man, and he fucking put a huge fucking katana in your back and expected you to be okay with it.
Oh yeah. Well, that's probably what he's used to out there in the Bay Area because that's how people treat each other, you know, at Whole Foods. But they're passive aggressive as fuck. You know, I call them the Birkenstock Brigade. It's like, you know, it's like stand as far away from them as you can when you shake their hand. But anyhow, I was super impressed with that. And even if you weren't on my side, just to, you know, you restored my faith in humanity a bit because, you know, between Asystole and Joe Buddy and Charles staying objective and you know, taking a stand, I was like, all right, there's hope for the world, you know?
Well, yeah, because it can't just be the one extreme, the echo chamber. And you can't not stand up for wrongdoing. You know, that's a lost art. I mean, you don't have to go in, you know, guns blazing to, you know, a 1 on 10,000 fight. But if injustice happens, you got to step up and be like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, well, you know, and that's the other thing that you know, that really upset me that Monday night was I had to sit through about a half an hour or more of him weaving this fucking conspiracy theory about how, you know, what my motivations might be. Maybe I'm one of Chris Cantu's spies, you know. And the fact is, here's what happened to me. You know, I mean, he was saying I supported him, I promoted him, you know, I fucking, you know, and he actually said this. He said I promoted his brand. I don't have a brand. I don't even have, you know, and I'm just, you know, I'm just 7.5 pounds of fur. But the thing is, I did have some videos up on my channel, and you know, they instructed on building, you know, guitar kits and how to wire the you know, the electronics and the pickups and get the sound you want out of them and shit. And the day after I went on Eli's, you know, Eli hit me up and said, oh, wow, you're MGTOW Monk. Want to tell us your story? So I told him his story the next day. And I never mentioned this to Eli until he stabbed me in the back. My 2 videos got completely slagged by, you know, fucking trolls or allies of his with all kinds of, you know, god awful profanity. And I got an email from a lady asking why. She was having to explain to her 8-year-old kid who'd been following my channel to learn about guitars, you know, why she had to explain to him what, you know, fucking what was it? It was felching and, you know, fucking cocksucker, you know, all this vile shit, right? And so I apologized to her profusely and took my videos all down. But I didn't hold that against Eli because I didn't know that, you know, I didn't have any reason to believe that, you know, that was an attack from him, and I still don't. So I talked to him on his show 3 or 4 more times, poured out some more of my life story without ever mentioning that to him. I give Chris Cantu $20, and all of a sudden I'm fucking Rudolph Hess telling the whole world to fucking, you know, MGTOW's gonna, you know, march over the world and you're all gonna salute.
Hey guys, I gotta run. I'm gonna keep listening, but have a good night, okay?
All right. Thanks for stopping by, Sister Lee. Always a pleasure.
Night.
All right. Hey, Rabbit, I'd just like to say that I started chatting with Eli because he invited me on to his Purple Pill show as a guest. And at first I said, I don't think you're going to like me as a guest because I don't agree with Eli. But I said, well, what the hell? So I said, okay, I'll do it. You know, but I told him like 4 months ago, don't date single moms. And I've told him over and over again. So, you know, he's like, oh yeah, that Joe Buddy's a good guy. And it's like, well, I'm polite to Eli most of the time, but I don't agree with him. And I haven't since we've started to talk, you know, on these live streams.
Yeah. But that's the same way he sucked me in, Joe.
Yeah, but I'm not his ally, you know, so,
yeah.
You know, I don't quite get Eli.
I remember Joe Buddy when you and I were on, like when he used to do live streams with him and Dana. I'm sorry, I have her name in my mouth. I'm a dirty, emotionally unstable human being. But I mean, there were streams where it was just like you and me in the fucking chat, and 2 people watching it. It was you and me.
Well, that was before he got famous.
Yeah, and then, I kind of liked him. I was like, well, he doesn't know what he's talking about when it comes to MGTOW, but maybe if you give him some sage advice, he'll come around. And God, how wrong were we?
Well, see, and that's the other thing is I thought, I feel like a fucking fool because, I follow a lot of MGTOW channels, and these guys, they see my name in the comments, right? And I'm talking guys like Turd Flinging Monkey, Howard Dare, DDJ, Sydney MGTOW, and I'm not going to name them all off, but I mean, I've been around since like Coltane and Cottery, and I was I never actually came out of my shell to tell anybody about what I was about. And his video came up, his channel came up in the suggested feed, and I was like, purple pill relationships, is it possible? And I was like, that's weird. Okay, so I clicked on that, and I think it was the first time I saw him. He was, or saw his channel. He was talking to Charles F. Gray, and they were talking about, how to manage fucking risks in their relationships and all that. And I made a few comments. Next thing I know, I'm being asked to share my whole life story. On because the questions they ask are way too simple. It's like, oh hey, so what made you go MGTOW monk? And I'm like, well, let me rewind 50 fucking years. I'm like, well, I was born, the doctor slapped my ass, they tried to cut off my foreskin, I told them to fuck off, so I still have it. And then I said, after I got out of kindergarten, my kindergarten teacher said, are you going to find a girlfriend in first grade? And I said, fuck that shit, man, I'm going black pill MGTOW monk, fuck them. And anyway, no, that's not how that works. But anyhow, so I mean, he asked me questions that required an awful lot of information to answer in a way that I thought would help a purple pill guy understand how a guy like me winds up going ghost voluntarily. And it didn't take long before all of a sudden I was seeing in his chat, oh yeah, all these MGTOW guys are just TFL and they're butthurt and they could never get a woman. I've got my lady Dana, and I'm like, I'm sitting there looking at this and I'm like, oh yeah, that's how it happened.
Because she's in the vault.
Well, apparently, whatever.
The vault, not just a vault, the vault.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, I consider Eli now to be a feminine thinking right brainer, speaks from emotion and not logic. And, I mean, having listened to so many of his streams, it's become clear to me that, he endeavors to be, a life coach and brand himself that way. And he's the one that actually seeks all the coaching. If he doesn't like the coaching he's getting, he gaslights the fuck out of whoever's trying to help him.
Yeah.
Just like those psychiatrists who need to switch, switch places with their, patients and lay on the damn couch so the patient can help them figure themselves out, And
Wow.
frankly, after listening to his story about, the incredible heartaches he's had to deal with over the years, here's what I got out of it. He went to a parochial school, sexually oppressive environment. He graduated. He tried to make the scene. He had a couple girlfriends, both of them monkey branched on him. Then he found Dana. So as far as I'm concerned, unless he comes on someone else's stream and catalogs his entire experience in between all those, I'm going to assume that he's the one that's TFL, and he's parading around, now like, I'm an alpha. It worked for me. It can work for you. And by the way, I'm going to shame MGTOW every chance I get because I hate MGTOW. I'm a life coach. You know, what the fuck?
Yeah. He's a different breed of stupid. He is a different breed of stupid. But we've seen it over and over again throughout, the history of time.
Yeah. So, Joe, what kind of music do you like?
Oh, Nemo and TFC were making fun of my music choices.
Oh, really?
Because I'm a little stuck in the past,
Hey, who isn't?
So I like some of the stuff from the 70s and 80s, like Bob Seger. And they were making fun of me for liking Phil Collins and Jeremy.
Yeah, Eli likes Phil Collins, and I know that he's got a favorite Phil Collins song.
Yeah.
And it's about I'll sing a little bit of it. Pardon my terrible singing voice, but
singing is Howard Dare.
No. It's I got to do it in kind of the Cuck Eli voice.
Oh no!
I can feel Chris coming in my hair tonight. Oh Lord, I've been sucking on his penis for so long. Oh Lord, oh Lord. That's my terrible impression of Phil Collins, but
well, I know when that song "In the Air Tonight" came out. That was huge.
Yeah, Phil Collins sucks on ice. He should have stuck to the drums. Peter Gabriel all the way.
Yeah. My favorite Genesis album is "The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway," which of course was Peter Gabriel.
Oh, that's a great one.
It's just bizarre, but the story's fantastic. It's kind of like David Bowie's Diamond Dogs. The entire thing, except for maybe one song, centers on Orwell's 1984. Joe, I like all kinds of old music too. And I, if I'm feeling sentimental about friendly girls who weren't going to hit me with a false rape allegation, I usually go back to the 80s and listen to things like, stuff like Blondie and Berlin and shit like that.
Well, you're not going to listen to what's his face. Rick Roll, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
you
gotta
what's
love
funny?
Rick Astley. Come on.
Yeah. Never gonna give you up.
Hey, I can. What's funny is I have a pie chart of that song with all the different colors in it, and it says, Rick Astley will never, and then the colors are listed down below with "give you up," "put you down," etc., and "run around" and "hurt you." And about every 90 days, I toss it up there on my Facebook feed, and everybody comes back going, "You motherfucker!" And I'm like, "Yeah, you got rickrolled by a goddamn pie chart, didn't you?"
Well, he seems to be a good sport about it because I heard he did that at a parade live.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, it was kind of like the same way Ferris Bueller sang "Donkashane" in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh, that's a Wayne Newton thing, right?
Yeah.
I even like some of that stuff from the 60s, the doo-wop.
I'm more of a psychedelic 60s guy, I like the Animals and early Who, stuff like that from that period. Hendrix, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. Like right now I'm listening to my Smiths collection, and all the macho guys I used to work with would be like, "Smiths, ew, fag," and I'm like, "I like the guitar, damn it."
Yeah, Johnny Marr was an amazing guitarist.
Yeah, Johnny Marr is so hard to figure out. I mean, I have a guitar that's tuned only to some of the tunings, the tunings that he uses on about 4 songs, and figuring out his tuning doesn't necessarily make the chord work any easier. Jesus, that guy's a fucking evil genius.
Yeah, and kind of underrated as a guitar player, I think.
Yeah, he doesn't stand out in front and say, "Look at me." He's a very background kind of guy, and he likes to join really small acts too. So you won't even know it's him. There'll be a band like, Cigarettes After Sex, and you look up on the stage and you're like, "I know that guy, and he's about 10 years older than the rest of the band. holy shit, that's fucking Johnny Marr.
He would have had a hard time shining in the Smiths anyway, because Morrissey is such a fucking presence.
Well, and Morrissey's voice was his voice and his stage presence were so different from what had come before, and you know, I used to cringe watching him, you know, because I was like, oh my god, dude, did your mom buy you Barbie dolls when you were a kid? But you know, I mean, he does have a cool voice, and his lyrics are fucking fantastic. I mean, he has some of the just most brutal lyrics, but he sings them like, you know, happy, happy.
Yeah. Yeah. But he also has that kind of, that weird, not monotone.
Yeah.
Kind of that, I can't, I used to do a pretty good Morrissey impression, but it was all just about,
in my life, why do I waste valuable time? I mean, he's just so melodramatic. It sounds like, you know, Katharine Hepburn's doing this singing, but I do like the guitar.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. I can't really listen to the Smiths anymore. That was one of my last land whale, I guess I'll call her now. Yeah. She was obsessed with the fucking Smiths.
Hey, Nemo, do you know any Sinatra songs like I Did It My Way?
No, I'm not a big Old Blue Eyes kind of guy.
Joey Aragon had a request that, you know, Howard Sinatra.
Dowered hair, yeah. He also wanted me to do Phil Collins, but you know, I'm not a big fucking pussy. You know, I'll sing Sledgehammer before I'll do In the Air Tonight. You know, just saying. That's how Howie rolls.
Oh, that's Peter Gabriel, right?
Yeah,
naturally.
Yeah, that was the one that had the all the great stop action animation, like the little you know, funny cars smashing into his head, and the roller coaster, and the. It
was an excellent video.
Fucking great videos for that period. Yeah, funnier than fuck.
Sicily's going into New York in the chat.
Oh, is he still? I thought he had to go somewhere. Damn.
I'm spreading the news.
New from the Purple Pill, apparently. That's just been posted. It says,
Eli, I'm spreading my cheeks. He's going in dry.
Ain't gonna be no lube in there. It's gonna hurt. If I can take it there, I can take it. Anywhere, it's up to you. Eli, Big John. Yeah, I know I suck. Sorry.
Oh no, that was gold. It's gold.
You know, you could record that, and then Nemo could use it like as his outro.
God, but you know, we could probably sit here and shoot the shit all night about music. That's like, that's my crack.
Well, it's refreshing for me, you know. I mean, because fuck all, what else would we talk about, right? Who else? Anybody care to guess?
Yeah. Any guesses?
On Bearded, on Nemo's channel, Eli is the new Cantu.
Yeah, pretty much. Try to get away from it. But speaking of my channel, if anybody knows about the MGTOW Mirror project, my channel is starting to have videos archived on the MGTOW Mirror project. So when I can find the link to donate to that, I'm gonna kick it $5 because that's awesome. I mean, my channel isn't a MGTOW channel, and it's not really that popular. So to be backed up is nice.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, the thing is, 17 people watching.
Well, yeah, and the thing is, you know, the Zeitgeist Eater, I don't think, you know, I know Charles F. Gray gave him a shout out and suggested that he back up your channel. And it's, I think it's, even though you're, you know, you're astute, you know, or discreet enough to keep MGTOW out of most of your titles, which I think the AI really keys in on. But if they were to sit there and manually review your channel, just the fact that you have a guy like me on here talking about red pills and shit, they'll be like, oh, fuck, it's a MGTOW channel. You know, so But Zeitgeist Eater, I mean, yeah, that guy is just doing yeoman service for the Manosphere, and I'm. But the thing is, when you click on the link, it comes up as Chris Cantu Secret Project, and what that made me suspicious. I was like, oh my God, is there anything this guy doesn't get involved in? But then I did a little background research on it, and I saw some videos from Zeitgeist Eater. Apparently, Chris Cantu has indeed been funneling all of that support to his project. It's just that, the way they've got it working is it's got several, what do you call it, firewall type things set up so that no one can attack, the backup project.
Now you're a fan of Chris, right?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
I tried to explain this to Eli like 2 episodes of his show before the one where he, went completely, fucking bullshit on me. And, just because I gave Cantu $20. Woo! And anyway, as if it was his business. But what I explained to him is that, men like Chris Cantu, they serve a purpose in the Manosphere. Because here's the thing. If you just found out that you are making the transition from, a stable, wonderful marriage to finding out by discovering a text, that your princess, while you're out on business trips, your princess has been banging Chad and Tyrone for a year, you're going to rage a little, right? And, when you find Chris Cantu's channel, it's going to help you because, a lot of his videos sound a little pissed off about it too. If you were to go in that state, if you were to go on Human's channel and Human was saying, guys, think about it. How much do you care? Just move on. Forget about it. That message is not going to hit home for a guy who's fucking raging. So between the ultra objective, calmly delivered MGTOW channels and content and the guys who are like raising their fist and saying, this is a war, man, and everyone in between, all of them are helping men, depending on what stage they're in.
Okay.
I mean, what do you think, guys?
Well, I think Chris is boring, so I can't really listen to his videos because I don't have the patience.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm kind of the same way. But if he's got a good message in some of his videos that help another man, more power to him. Let him do him. And if somebody doesn't really fucking like him, then that's their problem.
Yeah, well, and it's just like watching television, I mean, I used to love the Sci-Fi Channel, but it was only because there were 2 or 3 shows that really sang to me, right? All their other programming, for all I care, could take a flying fuck. However, who am I to say, that the other 5 million, 25 million viewers who tune into these shows I don't care about, don't matter, I don't know if that made sense, but every creator's got an audience, and who am I to judge whether or not they're putting out a valuable message?
No, and I didn't think about Chris Cantu appealing to people in red pill rage.
Yeah. Well, here's the difference. If you let's suppose that you were leading an infantry platoon out through right on on the DMZ, so to speak, and encountered the enemy and they shot first. Would you want the leader of your platoon going, holy shit, guys, it looks like we're taking some incoming fire. We might have to go ahead and lock and load, take a little cover, and maybe return some fire. Is that okay with everybody? Or do you want a platoon leader that's going to say, lock and load, return fire?
No, I get it. Right. We want Gunnery Sergeant Hartman in there, not the fat guy eating a donut. Okay.
That's right.
Nobody got my reference.
Yeah, well, I was actually coughing.
Yeah, Joe, buddy, you could suck a golf ball through a garden hose.
Nemo, you look like the type of guy who wouldn't even give somebody a reach around.
Oh, come on now. Come on now. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't do that. You take your ass fucking, and that's all you get, bitch. Just ask Eli. I didn't even kiss him goodnight.
Well, someone needs to tell Eli. There's only two things in San Francisco: steers and queers.
You ain't got no horns, boy.
Well, I'm okay with a little light stroking, but I hate being squeezed. I hate being squeezed, and I hate it when people freak out and drop me. It's such a fucking pain in the ass. I mean, you're stroking on a rabbit, and just because he moves his leg, you fucking freak out, panic, and drop the poor little fucker 4 feet to the ground. I mean, Jesus Christ, people.
Well,
it's very zen tonight, I think.
Yeah. I'm thinking of old movies and being freaked out. I can never watch that scene in Deliverance. I just gotta fast forward to that scene. Squeal like a pig.
Joe, buddy, you got a pretty mouth.
Yeah, then it's fast forward and go on to the next part.
It's like Mountain when you know that Heath Ledger's going to go in dry.
Well, it's like that sign. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that meme where there's like this multi-plank sign outside this guy's property in West Virginia, and it says, trespassers will be hogtied and told they got a pretty mouth.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I'll bet that mailman loves going in there, huh? It's just your mail. It's your welfare check. Please don't touch.
It's your welfare check.
Yeah, this was a good decompression. I think I was laughing so much that I might not have been able to fall asleep.
Yeah, I know once I end this stream, I'm going to hit the pillow and just be out and sleep like a fucking baby for the first time this week.
Well, what time is it where you are? It's like, fucking 2:25, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you working tomorrow?
No, Saturday. It's my only day off from both jobs. I gotta go in Sunday morning at 6 a.m. to the full-time job for OT.
All right. Yeah. I hope Eli doesn't, come after you.
Oh, he will. It's on its way, but it's whatever. Maybe one day, if Jamie wants to still have me on his stream with Eli one-on-one and give me all the super chats, then I'll definitely fucking do that. Because I'm not a cheap whore, but I will whore for money every once in a while. Once in a while.
Nemo, I should just advise you that I just timed out Human 2.0 again for absolutely no reason. It just seemed like fun at the time.
That's fine. It's Wrenchgate. It's always Wrenchgate in my channel. So
Ooh,
if you got a wrench, use it.
Joey Aragon says Eli is going hardcore. I guess yeah, that was predictable. I mean, it's only 11:30 there, so his mom's not telling him about bedtime yet, right?
You mean Eli's on right now?
Oh yeah, Eli's freaking the fuck out on his channel. I have no doubt about it.
Is he?
Really?
I'm gonna have to click and see because I'm sure he's heated.
Well, I unsubbed from him, so I don't bang the bell anymore.
Yeah, me neither.
Like I said, I'm just waiting to be the one unsubscriber that keeps him from being monetized.
Oh God, the satisfaction.
Because I'm a dick. I'm such a dick.
Dude,
but you deserve it.
The satisfaction would wash over you like this, the spring's first, sunrise. Oh my God, it would be so wonderful.
I kind of protested.
He is not live right now, but Raging Golden Eagle is.
I
kind of protested Eli last week, and I said, you know what? I'm going to log on to another account I have, and I'm going to downvote you twice if you don't stop talking about Chris Cantu. They get all mad at me, and I was like, dude, why don't you just stop talking about Chris Cantu?
Yeah, we've been telling him for a month and a half. It's like, the thing is, it's like, for Christ's sake, Marcus over there at Metaphysics and DDJ, called it out and they came in with facts, logic, and reason, right? That gave everybody an opportunity to look at it, make their own decision like big boys, whether or not they wanted to invest. And then here comes Eli every fucking day for 45 straight days, right? I mean, oh my God. And we all told him every episode, what's the topic today?
Well, it's Chris Cantu, guys.
Yeah. Well,
Big
every day
pussy.
every day it was like, hey, today we're going to talk about monkey branching. Can it be prevented? But first, before I get to that, ...
Breaking news, you guys. Breaking news.
Oh, God, it was just fucking grievous.
Today's breaking news was cringeworthy.
Oh, my God. You know what? I was not on the stream while Eli was, obviously, earlier today. There was no way he was ever going to let me on. And my last piece of advice for him, had he let me on, because I did call in just to see if he'd even, pick up the phone. I was going to say, Eli, the problem is that when you endeavor to pontificate, it's as though you only ejaculate into the bowels of society.
Ooh.
Because he likes that word a lot. I mean, he uses it almost every stream, the J word. So, yeah, I was going to give him my Jesse Jackson treatment. Up
with hope, down with dope.
Yeah.
Oh, it's funny. If Eli's not on YouTube right now, my stream right now, the likes are at 8 and the dislikes are at 0. So that tends to make me think that when all my shit's getting downvoted, it's a certain any cock will do.
Yeah.
Well, I have an idea that it might be him or it might be her. Because, she just might be protective and her, grizzly mama bear instincts are taking over.
Well, she's got 2 daughters and a son, right? Or no, I'm sorry.
She got 2 daughters.
Oh, she has a 44-year-old son that visits.
That whole male mother need thing, like
is that right, baby?
Jams the binky in his mouth and then sock puppets the fuck out of his enemies.
Right.
Yeah, she's loyal to him, so there's that.
She has to be.
She has to be? Okay.
Yeah, who else is she going to latch to while she's hitting the wall at full tilt?
Hitting?
I mean, going further into the wall. Like, she has her foot still firmly on the gas pedal, and it's just bad news bears all around, I think.
Well, for me, the dead giveaway was, like he would, on those streams she was on, he's always, I respect my lady, man. I treat my lady right. I know how to manage a relationship. I know how not to fuck up our love life. Isn't that right, baby? And
That's
she'll
right.
be like, well, before she even gets the apostrophe out in the word that's, he's like, yeah. And then he's on to the next subject. I mean, he fucking interrupts her every time he defers to her. She doesn't get a word in edgewise. So how respectful can that really be? And then he's got her, when she's not around, he's like, oh man, I spent all night, freaking muff diving and shit, man. I mean, come on.
Hey, Jamie, I was blessed with a tornado tongue. Isn't that right, baby?
Oh,
I can go all night.
Stop, please.
Tuna tacos all around for Coach Eli. Hold on, Rabbit. I'll let you talk the whole stream if you want. Just let me get this out. I love you like a brother, man, but I got a turbo tongue. Dana, she likes that. She likes that more than Big John. Isn't that right, baby?
Well, for me, when people start talking like that, it's the same thing with Brandon. It's like they can out turbo tongue us, they can out fuck us, and I'm like, well, thanks to you, there's 8 billion people on the planet.
Yeah.
I mean, thank God. Otherwise, we'd have gone extinct if it hadn't been for your, fucking acumen in the sack. I mean, please.
We need a new plague. There's too many mouth breathers on this planet. They need to kick their air addiction and take a dirt nap. Gonorrhea! Oh.
I was reading Russia has a 100 megaton nuclear torpedo weapon.
Awesome.
It's gonna create a tsunami, right? Maybe they'll take out New York or Los Angeles.
Yeah, well, aim it straight for the Bay Area, please.
Well, if they do that, I mean, that's white shark country, so that, you might have Sharknado, right? I mean, they spin up the ocean and, it comes cycloning in over San Fran with the entire area's population of white sharks in it.
Yeah, turn into Sharknado 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah, well, that's like a tech capital, so they might go after that.
The way this whole Me Too fallout thing's happening, it's other than the money flowing into tech, it almost seems like Hollywood's going to be the first to fall on its face, and then possibly Silicon Valley next. Because I mean socially. I don't mean like they're going to have to take the Tinder sign off their wall and it winds up being a Foot Locker. It's just socially, people are just not listening to them anymore. They don't want to fucking hear it.
Well, when they say how much box office revenue a movie's taken in, well, it might look impressive, but have you been to the movies recently? Have you seen, do you pay for a movie ticket?
Good Lord. No.
Yeah, they're expecting.
You all have seen the drivel that they put out too. I mean, everything is engulfed in feminist ideology and make devaluing men even more, and nobody sees it.
So my point with the ticket price is they're actually not selling that many tickets compared to what they were selling 20 years ago.
Well, that's why a movie ticket costs $20.
So they're having a hard time filling the seats right now, and they're kind of getting repetitive with the same like superhero genre.
Yeah. Well, and there's a lot of movies coming out that they're not like that latest Reese Witherspoon movie where she's like a 45-year-old strong independent woman, and she gets herself like a boy toy.
Oh, that's a very original plot.
And the whole movie's like, you go, girl. And, by the end of the movie, she's expecting. And we're like, what fucking, or no, I'm sorry.
Eli will do a movie review for us.
No, is that the movie that Coltrane was talking about in his last video?
I think so. But, actually the one where she's expecting toward the end is the other woman with, where Kate Upton had a bit part. But it's like, what kind of delusional bullshit? It's like, okay, so I guess the sequel is a very serious movie about how to raise a child with Down syndrome, right? I mean, I'm like, where is this fucking going?
Well, the problem with these movies where they're talking about dumping people and, following your heart is that the movie trails off and you have this warm, fuzzy feeling.
And you don't see the rest of as Paul Harvey would say, the rest of the story.
Yeah, so like the rest of the story, like Nemo having to live with his sister and having visitation with his son, and his son having to live in a broken family. No, bitch, don't follow your heart. Stay together, stupid.
If you followed your heart in the first place, you would have ended up with the person you were supposed to end up with, and you wouldn't have to follow your heart again to the next Chad or Tyrone.
Yeah, well, I'm going to get a little, preachy, religious, for a moment. But, the Bible says, that the heart is desperately wicked. Who can understand it? You don't follow your heart. If you're going to break up your family, stop. That's my advice to women. But they won't take it, but that's my advice.
Well, you can see that women have always followed their heart. I mean, look, they got us kicked out of the fucking garden. Because they decided they wanted that apple. So they've been following their heart since the beginning of fucking time, according to the Bible.
Right. That's like, that's like when, God woke up Adam one morning and said, I can stop me if you've heard this one before, but, I can create for you the perfect companion so you won't be lonely and, Eden anymore. And, she'll compliment you physically, spiritually, mentally, and she'll be conscientious and she'll support you in your endeavors, and she'll be, very agreeable. And he says, but it's just going to cost you a leg. And then Adam thinks about it for a minute, and he says, "What can I get for a rib?"
No, I haven't heard that one. Okay.
Yeah, well, the other one, the other version of that joke has that punchline about, what was it? It was like, God says, I can build you a bridge all the way from San Francisco to Hawaii and over to Tokyo so you don't have to feel the sea anymore. And, someone asked God for that. And God says, well, that's going to be a pretty tall order. Is there something else you'd rather have? I'd rather have a congenial woman who I can spend the rest of my life with. And God's like, where'd you want me to connect that bridge again? But yeah, I know.
Yeah. Well, I just think Hollywood is just, screwing with women.
Well, it's screwing with men too. It's making them think it's okay to see a woman that's in a marriage or in some other committed relationship. Be like, hey, you want her, buddy? You fucking go get her. You follow that big heart of yours too, and you go fuck up somebody else's life.
Hey, if you guys have a half an hour, which I'm guessing you will eventually, because God knows we spend enough time, on here. If you haven't seen it already, check out Sargon of Akkad's review of the latest Star Wars movie. It's called Gender Wars: The Last Snowflake. Oh my God, it was fucking hysterical. Are you familiar with Sargon of Akkad?
Yes. Yeah, if it'll prevent me from having to watch that piece of shit,
it will.
Yeah. Oh, Nemo, I heard somebody took out all the feminist parts of Star Wars and they trimmed it down to like 75 minutes.
Oh, God, yeah.
I heard it was even less than that.
Oh, was it? Yeah. But I heard it really triggered the women. They got mad.
Oh, yeah.
I heard it was like 5 minutes long.
Well, the idea, the very idea that a, well-funded, highly resourced, superiorly manned military space force consisting of nothing but, white males with excellent military bearing and good training could beat a ragtag team of, women running old beat up ships. That's just anathema. Women can do anything, right? I mean, it's
because vagina.
Yeah, exactly. You got to level that space playing field so we can defeat the Empire and all their might. And if anything, history has proven to us that human spirit and dedication only take you just so far. During the Revolution, Yorktown was a very close run thing, and if the French fleet hadn't shown up when it did, things could have been very different. But yeah, that's what I hate about these fucking movies. And of course, Luke Skywalker is just a bitter old man. I mean, he was a master Jedi at one point, and but now, Mary Sue, Rey, is he comes in, picks up his lightsaber, he tries to hand it to him. He doesn't want it. 30 seconds later, she's mastered the motherfucker, splitting the island in half. And Luke is like, wow, you're big with the Force. And she's like, yeah, I don't need any training. Fuck you. I'm going to go beat up the Empire. And it took Luke 3 years and, or 3 movies and 20 years to come to that,
Yeah, he had to crash a stupid plane and meet Yoda and, do all that stuff.
And cannot get your ship
out. Cannot get your ship out.
And all these new movies are all canon now, right? But then so are all the old novels that came out, in the 90s and early 2000s, and it's contradictory.
Right.
Luke was never really that kind of Yoda-esque reclusive. But again, I haven't seen the new movies, so I just flat out refuse to see them.
All right. Well, I really lost interest in Star Wars when we had Episode 1.
Ugh.
So,
well, that piece is fucking shit.
Fucking creature fest. But you know what?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Joe, but I just got to say it. That one scene in Episode 1 when they're on... oh, damn it. What's the name of the frickin' jungle? Yeah, exactly. Naboo.
Misaru and franchise.
No, don't do Jar Jar.
But remember the scene where they had the big shield down and droids were trying to shoot their way through the shield. That old warrior Gungan guy and Jar Jar were standing there. When the droids bust through the shield, if you ever get a chance to see the scene again, and I had some of my coworkers verify this when I took them out for movie day. He turns to him as the droids come through, and he says, "We think a something," right? But because of his accent, it sounds like he says, "We suck dick or something." And I'm like, yeah, they suck dick or something because they're fucking losing. We suck dick or something.
That movie was cringy because it was like half of it was about a picnic with some girl.
Oh God, yeah. And those weird ass, giant hamsters that threw Anakin all over the countryside.
But so, I got turned off from Star Wars. I was looking forward to it because as a kid I had all these fond memories, and then I lost interest. But was Episode 7 supposed to be like this? Was this originally like how it was written? Do you know?
No, in the books, from what here's what's weird is they cherry pick from the books. Even the ones that were like Lucas authorized. Like, for instance, one of my favorite ones was Splinter of the Mind's Eye. And it was supposed to fall between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, right? And if I remember correctly. But they wound up using that whole book and condensed it down into just the Endor scene, right? So that's what happens to these books. They'll get a 250-page book that has, actually makes sense in terms of the narrative. And next thing you know, Han Solo's son is killing him.
Right. So was that part of it? I mean, we don't even see Luke in Episode 7.
Yeah.
Then Han Solo and Leia, I guess they got married, but then they got divorced and they don't talk to each other for 20 years. I mean, was this... Well, was this a story or this was Hollywood?
Well, it was Hollywood, and specifically it was Disney that did that to it. And the part they left out with that whole Han Solo and Leia narrative was that she, after Return of the Jedi, when they've shut down the Empire for a while, i.e. before Episode 7 kicks in, Leia sat on the couch with the remote in her hand while, Han resumed smuggling. And she spent long years alone watching Oprah and The View.
Oh, she wasn't in charge of anything?
Well, no, because they took a break. And so she got pumped full of SJW, bullshit. And by the time Episode 7 comes around again, the Disney production, Han, lands on the Rebel base, and they even fucked with the dialogue at the beginning of Episode 7 because the first thing she's supposed to say when he sees her, right, and Rey jumps down off the ship because after all she learned to fly at the moment she pushed the right button to turn it on.
Yeah, she can do everything.
She's fucking unbelievable. And anyhow, the first words out of Leia's mouth are supposed to be, "You scruffy-looking nerve herder. I've had it with your toxic masculinity. I am sick of this fucking patriarchy, and you are not going to be flying around the galaxy in that rusted old bucket of bolts and leaving me here to watch Oprah for 8 hours a day, eating ice cream. Again, you are going to mow the lawn. You're going to fucking help me with the laundry. And, yeah. Then we'll get on with the rest of the rebellion."
Wow, that's
But they cut that out in the movie. It's in the book, but it's not in the movie.
Wow, that sounds like something you might have lived through.
Well, and Han's return line was, "Who's scruffy looking?" It was kind of a fallback to Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. Well, I think that was the best line of the originals. The original 3 movies. "I love you." And yeah, I know.
Yeah.
No, I think they role reversed that, and she said, "I love shoes," and he said, "I know." You know, that's a little unknown trivia. They did a take of that, and it got deleted, and they put it in the extras. You have to buy George Lucas's Seaman edition to get the.
Oh, jeez.
Gosh, he turned into like a giant cuck. What happened to him?
Because he saw all the dollar signs that could be made from fucking with his movies and repackaging them and making them better instead of leaving well enough alone like he should have.
I mean, his first 3 movies, all the kids loved it. Why didn't he just stick to that formula and do it for another generation?
Well, he basically retired. I mean, you know, he's had Skywalker Ranch and Lucasfilm, and he was like, let's see, I'm not quite as rich as Bill Gates, but I'm getting close, you know? I mean, at some point, you just want to go fishing, right?
Yeah, I suppose.
Well, you know what I liked about, can either of you guys recall the, you know, conversational training interchange that connects Empire Strikes Back with The Matrix?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Was this like some YouTube video?
No. It's the scene on Dagobah when you know, Yoda whips out his pimp hand and jerks that X-wing onto the beach, and Luke says, "I don't believe it," and Yoda says, "That is why you fail."
Ah.
You remember the scene in The Matrix now?
Yeah.
The training simulation where Neo falls and goes splat into the concrete.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he says, "I don't believe it," and Morpheus says, "That is why you fail." So yeah, it was kind of a little throwback on that.
Then they had to screw up the Matrix and have true love save the day.
Oh my God!
As always. Oh, I think we're going to end this stream here in a couple of minutes. My eyes are getting heavy, and I'm going to have to wake up semi-early and go play dad and get my kid and play in the snow.
Oh, that's good. And well, maybe that Trinity scene, you know, wouldn't have gagged me so bad if she was actually hot looking, but she wasn't.
Well, the other thing is I don't even understand how her kissing on him on, you know, the ship could have affected him in the Matrix. That's a connection I never made.
Oh, I love you, had to watch Princess
you
Bride. You
cannot die on me. Oh yeah, right.
True love.
Yeah. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Oh wait, kiss. Damn it. Okay. He's back to life. My name is Inigo Montoya. Don't kiss him, bitch.
Oh, wait, that's my next parody video of Eli. I think.
Do it. Oh, no, with Eli, the line from that movie, Princess Bride, is "You keep using that word, right, I don't think it means what you think it means."
Right. That's it. I'm going to give up talking about these people. I do not think you think. That's it. I'm not talking about Chris Cantu anymore. I don't think you know what that word means, Eli.
Perfect. Okay. Hello, MGTOW. Hello, man. This is Dullard Hair, and the Nemo is getting a bit tired. You know, he doesn't have the stamina that little Howie does, and Big Howie too. So we're gonna close the stream. We'll do the round table, although it's like more like a round triangle at this point. Hopefully not a love triangle, Coach Eli. If you're watching, don't get it twisted. All right. So Dynamite Rabbit, why don't you have some closing thoughts, and then we'll move to Joe Buddy, and then I'll take it out from there.
Zoinks and away. That's all I got.
All right. Well,
you beautifully put, Joe Buddy. Your final thoughts?
I just like to thank you for inviting me on, and I would like to commend you for doing a good job with Jamie earlier, and well, you did a good job talking about a lot of boring stuff, but the best part was when you were talking about Coach Eli and ripping him a new one.
Yeah, I think Nemo did a really good job at ripping on Coach Eli, and Eli got really triggered. Yeah, he got so triggered. He was worse than these women that I run into. You know, I'll be riding my bike downtown, you know, and all these ladies, they just come up and they want to put their breasts in my basket, in my bicycle basket, and ring my bell. So, you know, it just goes to show that MGTOW will get these women just fawning over you. And it's just great. It's really fantastic.
All right. I'd also like to commend Dynamite Rabbit for triggering Eli too. Good job.
Oh, it was absolutely unintentional. I had no idea that was going to happen.
Well, how much have people donated, and who's donating? Who's giving the shackles? And they're not sending it Coach Eli's way. And Dana is getting really triggered because she wants more fancy dinners. So, I need those shackles, Dynamite. You shouldn't be giving them to Jamie. He's a big fucking pussy. And, even I, the great Doward Hare, donated $10 to Jamie. And that makes me, by association, a big fucking pussy. But hashtag howarddickcheese.howiedickcheese.com.org/dickcheese.
Hey, just for the record, I have absolutely no control over the fucking the super chats. I have a robotic rabbit that does all that shit for me and then reports to me the damage. I'm like, and I'm like, why the fuck would you give so and so 5 shekel, five super chats for $20 each? Are you out of your mind? And he's like, well, it's not like I'm a real rabbit. What the fuck?
Yeah, some people are just easily triggered, and we call them women. They're women. So, Coach Eli, this is Doward Hare. You're a woman, and I will continue to produce content around the fact that you're a woman, and you gaslight men, and you're just a money-hungry bitch. And Dana is the man in the relationship. That's Doward Hare. Coach Eli, you listen, or little Howie is going to come put the slap on your face, and you'll like it, and you'll thank me for it. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and click the bell so you get all relevant notifications, as I do plan on having more content for you. And I would like to remind everyone that the Nemo, he's not monetizing his videos anymore. But there are Patreon and PayPal links that you can click if you feel so inclined. But by all means, this content is absolutely free. And I will not ask you where you spend your money because I'm not a bitch. Again, this has been Doward Hare. Thanks for stopping by. Good night, MGTOW. Good night, man.